guys, it's Maggie
and Emma,
and welcome back to another episode of Love You Bye. Today we're just going to talk about goal setting and living in the moment, basically like where we are in life right now, how we got here, what we want to accomplish in the future, and just kind of go more into detail about that, because I know if you watch our YouTube videos, we have talked a lot about just living in the moment and also like our routines and stuff. So we just kind of want to like dive deeper into that and touch upon all that stuff and give you guys like an inside look on how we've also like changed over the years.
But first, before we get into the episode, we're going to start a little tradition that we have on this podcast. This is our first episode doing it, where we share our peak in the pit of the week. And this is something that we do with all of our friends every trip that we go on, or anytime we're at dinner, or whenever it is. We always share the peak in the pit of, so it's a good little way to reflect on what's been going on in your life, and you kind of get to know like little things about each other that you might have not known.
Yeah. So you can go first.
Okay, I'll start with my pit. I'd have to say that my pit was, or is, that I haven't really been sleeping lately. Well, the past like 2 nights, or today. I like did not sleep at all last night, so I feel like I woke up today and I've been super tired, which is kind of like annoying because I just like to feel refreshed during the day. Other than that, I don't really have that many pits. I feel like I've had a pretty good week. And then I'd say my peak would have to be, I saw a lot of my friends from high school this past weekend, and I haven't seen them, oh my gosh, in like maybe since like last winter. Some of them I haven't seen in so long because they've been gone at college and stuff like that. So we all got together for a weekend and it was really nice to catch up and see people that I hadn't seen.
Well, I'm going to start with my pit first, since you started with yours, and just to get it out of the way before I talk about my peak. So my pit is probably that I've had a lot of anxiety this week with just different things, and yeah, I've just been like really struggling. So we're just gonna leave it at that before I get more anxiety. But anyway, my peak of the week is that I went out to dinner with Graydon, my best friend, on Friday night, and we went to this really cute restaurant that I've driven by a million times and I've been wanting to try it. If you're ever in Boston, it's called Petit Robert, and it's like this really cute French bistro. And we sat outside as the sun was setting over the city, and we just had a cheese board and fries and got wine, and we just talked, and it was a really like cute night. And yeah, so that probably was like one of my highlights, like trying a new restaurant and going with my best friend, and that is my peak. So on that note, let's get into our topic for the week, which is goal setting and living in the moment. So I just thought we could talk about our daily routines and how we structure our day in order to live in the moment and be more present. I feel like in the past, I've definitely been a lot more strict about this, where I've had a routine where I like wake up in the morning and I will not go on my phone for the first 30 minutes of the day, which I've definitely not been good at doing that over the past few months, but in the past that is something that has tremendously changed my life. I've heard so many people talk about it before, and I never really understood how much of an impact it was going to have on me until I actually did it myself. So I definitely would say not going on your phone for the first 30 minutes of the day changes the whole entire like rhythm right when you wake up. I feel like just not picking up your phone and looking at what other people are doing and consuming so much content, and just getting out of bed, putting your right foot forward, and just starting your day off by doing something like more productive. Like I love to write in the 5-minute journal, and I think you can get it like on Amazon. They have it on different websites like Urban Outfitters, but it's basically a journal that has a prompt for the morning and a prompt for the night, and you just write simple things like 3 things that you're grateful for and like 1 thing that you want to do during the day. It'll tell you exactly what to write in the prompt, and it has a little quote, and I love to do that in the morning, and then I love to do it before bed because I feel like it's a nice way to just be very present and reflect and like stop and actually like think before you get going with your crazy day. Do you do that still?
Yeah, I still write in my 5-minute journal. I actually love that thing. I've been doing that for, I feel like, a few years now, since like 2020. I really got into that during that time. I never thought I was going to be the type to get up in the morning and like not go on my phone and start writing in a journal. It's not like a literal journal where you have a blank page and you just write like on and on and on about your life. Like Maggie said, like it has little questions that it asks you and you like write down specifics to that, and it really puts you in the moment because you have to think about things going on in your life in that moment and things that you're grateful for and whatnot. So that's a really nice thing to kind of just like set down your day and live in the moment and do that. But another part of my routine that I actually really like, and I've picked this up over the summer, I started doing this, which I never also thought I would be doing this, is reading. In high school, it was so hard for me to pick up a book, but once I found an author that I really like, I think I've read almost like all of her books, and it's really nice to do that when I wake up in the morning, because obviously going on your phone is a lot, like it's just an overload of information that you just don't need right away in the morning. So reading a nice book that just kind of sets a nice relaxed tone for your day is good. And I also like to end off my days that way, reading, so I don't have to sit on my phone and scroll, which is another nice little part of my routine that I enjoy.
Do you meditate?
No, I cannot do that.
Okay, because I used to, as you know, Emma, I used to be obsessed with meditation, and I don't think I've ever truly felt so present in my own body other than like when I was meditating. And I haven't done it in a while also because I was in such a strict routine with it, and then I got really busy and life just got crazy and like I stopped doing it. But truly, when you just take 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, it doesn't have to be a long time. I would just search on YouTube like meditations for being present or guided meditation for dealing with stress, anxiety, things like that, and I would sit there with my eyes closed. I did one this morning. I feel like I just was very present today, and I feel like I have a lot more control over my thoughts when I meditate. And that's just me personally. I think that it's helped me so much, especially with not being as reactive anymore. Like I remember in the past, I used to get so upset over things and I would be so reactive. But when I started meditating, I felt like I could control like the voice that was going on in my head. And I did it this morning, so I think I'm gonna start doing it again. And I think meditation, it's not like a thing where you have to be like, okay, I need to meditate every single morning, every single day, like no days off. Like I think meditation is a like marathon, not a sprint. Like you can do it for months, and if you fall off for a few months, like that is totally fine. Like don't practices that can just flow and it comes and goes, but it's always going to be like a constant. Like you're never going to forget what you learned when you meditated.
I feel like I've tried meditation in the past. Not that it hasn't helped me, but I just have a very hard time with sitting down and letting myself just like not even just relax, but I feel like I always have to be doing something, touching something. Like my mind races at all hours of the day and it never shuts off, and I have to be doing something. I have to be like tapping my foot, I have to be holding something, I have to be feeling something. Like I just seriously, I can't sit still. But for me, I find that something that just like helps me be very present and in the moment, and it's my time where I literally don't think about anything else but what I'm doing is when I'm doing Pilates. So I feel like that's my form of meditation.
Yeah,
is like
definitely.
I find happiness in doing like that or yoga or something, because I'm still moving, but I'm also focusing on my breath.
Yeah, a lot of people I feel like use working out as a form of meditation.
I've heard some people like turn off the lights in their closet and they sit in their closet, and I couldn't do that. I don't
like,
think
that could never be.
No, it couldn't.
Well, what are some of your favorite things to do, and just things that are your go-to when you're trying to de-stress and relax and be more present? Like not talking about working out, like putting that aside or putting the meditation, stuff like that. Like when you're really feeling like you just are anxious and you just need to calm down, like what do you like to do?
There's 2 things I like to do, even though we were putting working out aside, but I literally have a gym downstairs in my apartment. I go and I walk on the treadmill if I'm ever very anxious, and it helps a lot. Or sleeping, shutting my eyes, like getting in bed. I just want to get into bed. I want to put sweatpants, a sweatshirt on, which I hate sleeping in sweatpants and sweatshirts, but when I feel anxious, I need something that's like a hug. And I just lay there. Like today I got a little anxious, so I put sweats on and I sat in bed and I put the covers over my head and I just like shut my eyes.
Yeah, I actually did the exact same thing yesterday. Like I took 45 minutes just to close my eyes and just be in bed with a heavy blanket on, because I was like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. And also I have been loving, and this has been a thing that I've been doing for a really long time, taking Epsom salt baths. Like I get a big bag of lavender or eucalyptus Epsom salt from Whole Foods, and I fill my bath up with really really hot water, put like 3 scoops of it in there. I get a big tumbler and I fill it with ice and ice cold water and lemon, and I sit in my bath with the Epsom salt and I just like decompress, and it's one of the most relaxing things ever. And if the bath is hot enough, like it literally will make me sweat, and I feel like I'll just like sweat out all of the stress that's in my body, and it just is like a moment for myself. I usually do this at the end of the day, and it's very just like detoxifying and makes me feel so good. I feel like baths are very underrated.
I have a sauna blanket because I don't have a bath. Not even blankets, like a sauna bed from Higher Dose, and I got it off of Revolve. I love it so much. Like I'll just lay in it at night, and it just like makes me feel like warm and cozy and nice.
I love that. I feel like I've seen a lot of people with those. I want an at-home infrared sauna.
Oh no, yeah, me too.
So bad. Like that is one of my biggest goals when I have like my own house. I really want a sauna at my house to be able to just go and sit, and you can like listen to like a meditation or anything like that. Okay, so I guess going along all that we just talked about, a very important part of our life obviously is our job as YouTubers, content creators, whatever you want to call it. And it has been our job for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like my life has just changed so much since we became YouTubers. A lot of like stress has come from it. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because I feel like it's definitely helped me grow and change as a person to be able to navigate all of the stress. And I know that everybody deals with different stress from their jobs and stuff. So this is just like my own personal opinion and experience. But I just feel like living in the moment and being present while creating YouTube videos and like social media content, I feel like kind of been a struggle for me in the past, because sometimes I feel like I need to be like keeping up with everything, you know, and just like posting as much as I can, because I'm like, this is my job, like I need to get more content out and I don't want to like disappoint my viewers. But sometimes I feel like it has been nice to like take a step back and realize that I need to like take care of my mental health before I can start putting out content, because like how can I show up for others like before I even show up for myself?
I mean, I agree completely. I have taken so many breaks from posting because I genuinely don't want to put on like a fake smile for my videos. But there's also like a really fine line between like work and normal life. Like I feel like sometimes it's hard to figure out like what you're gonna show and what you're not gonna show. Our job is basically like our life. If we're vlogging, we're showing what we're doing that day. Half the time it's like I do certain things, or I'm like vlogging everything, and it's like it's hard to, I don't even know how I'm trying to say, but it's like part of me feels like I'm always doing stuff that's like work. The only time I'm not really showing is when I'm with my friends, because I don't want to vlog or something, because I feel like I'm working, but it's also not work, you know?
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to navigate, and I think not a lot of people understand like really what goes into creating content. And I don't want to sound ungrateful, and I don't want people to be like, okay, you literally have everyone's dream job and it's the best job in the world, like shut up. But it's difficult, and that's okay. And I just think that, I mean, opening up about what it's like on the backside, because as viewers, people only see the final product. They see what you vlog, they see a picture on Instagram, and they think, oh, this person's life is so easy, and they just get to film themselves all day and post it online, and that's the way that it is, and they should have no worries in the world and no struggles. But I feel like it's really hard to be present and just like live in the moment when you're creating content as your lifestyle. I agree also that it gets hard between like what do you show, what do you not show. And I feel like in the past, like right when I started my channel, I opened up about everything. Like I was such an oversharer, and then it came to a point where I got more and more followers, and then I have to stop and think about and be like, wait, say that I was dealing with a problem with like mom and dad's divorce a few years ago. That was like right when we started YouTube. And I was like, well, I'm in a fight with my dad and I haven't talked to my dad in this long, and this happened and this happened. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm getting so confused. What I'm just trying to say is like the more my channel started to grow, I had to realize there were people behind the screen like watching every single one of my vlogs, and they saw everything that I said. They saw how I felt, and while yes, I wanted to like like live in the moment and just be authentic, I also feel like I have to take a step back and be like, okay, I can't like overshare everything about my life, because what if I say something about somebody or like a situation that's going on in my life, and like that's my point of view and that's my perspective and how I feel, but also I needed to realize like how that could hurt like somebody else. Yeah, all in all, I think that being present and living in the present moment, that like changed my content, if that makes sense, because I feel like now I'm just like more mindful with the stuff that I put out online, and I feel like it can definitely just be like difficult because I don't plan my content, and I know you don't either, Emma. Like we really just try to create content based on our life and what we're doing exactly at the moment, and not try to like curate it to be something that it's not. Like I've always just tried to be like very authentic and be me and I know you have done the same thing too.
We're moving into the Q&A portion of today's episode. We put a little question box on our Instagrams and we got a ton of questions from you guys. So now we're going to answer them. Let's get into it.
Okay, so question number 1, I'm working on creating a daily, weekly, and monthly goal. What are yours? My daily goal to start off is to honestly, going off with like the living the present moment, my goal is just to be present every day and not worry about the future and not stress about what happened in the past. Like I'm really just trying to live each day in the present moment because that is the only time that we have. So that's my daily goal. My weekly goal is to just move my body more. I worked out with my trainer Mike yesterday, but I want to move my body at least 3 times this week. That's my weekly goal. And then my monthly goal is to, well, it's almost the end of the month, so I guess my goal for next month would be my daily goal and my weekly goal combined.
I would have to say my daily goal would have to be movement. I like to get movement in daily, whether it's literally like going on a little walk to get coffee. Like I do not leave my apartment building. It has everything there, so I genuinely just don't leave. I like the comfort of my own home, and so I don't do much other than going down to the gym and back up to my room. But I like to get movement in for my body, whether it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And then I'd have to say my weekly goal would probably be, I try to not live, but like have more happy days. I feel like it's like I had a huge change. Like I moved back to Boston, which was really hard for me to do, and I've been like getting used to it and stuff. So that would definitely be my weekly. And my monthly goal would probably be, at least for next month, is starting to show more things in my videos and stuff like that, because I feel like I didn't really show much this summer in the last few months because I was trying to figure out like my life and like my situation and stuff, and I didn't really create too much content, but I didn't want to create like forced content like we were just talking about. I definitely want to show you guys more stuff because I do a lot of fun stuff. Like I'm always hanging out with my friends and like having fun and just like hanging out and doing like random little things. So I feel like this winter I have a lot planned that I just want to show more of.
And I feel like Vlogmas is coming up, so that'll also be a good way to like show. Obviously you're going to be showing daily what you're doing, so that'll be really easy. Question number 2, what are your plans for the near future, 5 years ahead? I feel like we got this question a ton. Like I saw this question so much about plans for the future, especially like a 5-year plan. Mm-hmm. And for me, 5 years from now I'm gonna be 30, which is so weird. No, I'm gonna be 31 since I'm literally turning 26 in a month, next month.
Yeah.
So I'll be 31. My 5-year plan, career-wise, I don't even know. Like, I honestly don't even know where I want to be in 5 years. I just know that I want to hopefully have my own business by then, because I've already accomplished one of my goals recently that I never even thought in a million years I would even accomplish. Said that would have been my 5-year goal. And my dog Milo, you guys, he's at the door. I'm looking at him right now. He's at the back door, and he always goes up to the back door and he barks at everyone that walks by. And I just didn't want him to interrupt this episode. Yeah, if you don't know, I found out that I was coming out with my own clothing line, like clothing collection with Revolve, which has been my goal forever. And the fact that I am doing it and it's coming out in 2023, it's just crazy to me because that would have been my goal. But I think genuinely to just be happy and to be present and to be maybe living in a house that I own, like that is what I want to do, and just be like a kind person. Honestly, I want to be at peace. That is all I want.
To be like realistic, I really want to, this is like something like a goal that I've had in the back of my head, but I really want to become a Pilates instructor and hopefully maybe, I don't know, open a Pilates studio, which would be really cool because I feel like living in Boston, I know what I like and it's not here. So I want it to be here, which would be really fun. So maybe that, because I'll be 25.
Yeah.
I'll be 25 by then. So like, what do I...
You could open up your own studio and then be able to share that with so many people around the city. I think that that's a really great goal.
And then another, I would say, I want to be just wake up and be genuinely just like you, how you ended yours, like at peace and like happy and just like living a very, like a life where I just feel like I'm floating, you know, that feeling where you're just like everything is all together and you just feel so good every single day. Not saying I don't feel good, but obviously like we all have our days and stuff, but I feel like I've had more of those a lot lately. And then another, this one's a little bit much, but like maybe like live in a house and like have like a husband. I feel like, I mean, maybe this is just me, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, who knows what can happen, because also Hailey Bieber got married when she was literally 21.
Jess had a baby and she was 25.
Yeah.
So, and I want to be a young mom. I really honestly, like, I want to have kids between 25 and 30.
Anyway, moving on. Next question. How do you deal with being overwhelmed about your future?
I think that when I was younger, I felt more overwhelmed with my future because obviously the unknown is so scary, but when I was when I was in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do after I graduated. And so it was always like, okay, you're going to graduate, you're going to apply to colleges, you're going to go to college, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So I'd always be so anxious because I was like, that's genuinely like not really what I want to do. And I was thinking about what my major was going to be and what job I was going to go into after college. And I was like, I don't want to major in anything at school. I'm not interested. Not that I'm not interested, but like there's nothing that like I'm passionate about. Obviously, I started my YouTube channel towards the end of high school, and then I found something that I was genuinely passionate about and that like made me so happy. So that kind of eased it a little bit, but also like I still don't know what's going on in the future. And like, so like you can't worry about something that hasn't even happened yet. Like the future is the future. You don't even know what you're gonna do in the next hour or like tomorrow. Like it could be sunny tomorrow and you can have like an amazing day, you know, and like maybe it was like cloudy and you had like not that good of a day. Like
today,
you don't know what's gonna happen.
Literally pouring rain and so depressing all day.
Yeah, so it's like you can't dwell over things that you can't control, because you cannot control what's gonna happen. Well, you can, to an extent, you can control what's gonna happen in the future, but you don't know what's gonna happen in the future.
Exactly.
Like anything can happen, anything can change. Like,
and I just think like truly what's meant to be will be, and that's the way that it goes. For me, I definitely do get overwhelmed when I overthink about the future. I feel like everybody does. It's such a normal thing, but just honestly taking a step back and realizing like what is meant to be will be, and what's yours will never pass you. And to just honestly, you need to focus on yourself, and you need to focus on your goals and just little things that make you happy, and everything, I swear, falls into place. Like I can think of multiple times in my life where I was like going through a really big change and being so stressed out because I was dealing with something that was just totally unknown, and the way that things have worked out since then have just been like, I can't even imagine. Like for example, this has to do with our career. Like this is just the thing that comes to the top of my mind. Like when we first started YouTube, we signed with a management company. We spent 3 years with that management company, and then after 3 years our contract with them expired, and Emma and I decided that we wanted to try something different. So we went and we started a contract with a new management company, and I was so scared. I remember at that moment, because I was like, we were so close close to the people that we had worked with, and that's just the way it had always been for 3 years. Like,
it's all that we knew.
That's all that we knew. I was like, what am I doing? Like, the next 3 years, like, what are they going to be like? Like, I was just so anxious about it, and I was like, are we making the right decision? Like, should we just stay with our old management company because that's what we're comfortable with, or should we take that risk? And we took that risk, and it has now been 2 years since then, and I just feel like my life has changed so much in a good way, and there was really no need to stress because everything worked out the way that it was supposed to.
It helped us grow a lot as people and in what we were doing. I also used to get really stressed when I was little. Like when I was a kid, I was probably like 10, and I'd lay in my bed at night and I'd be thinking, and I'd be like, okay, like how am I going to support my family when I'm older? I'm 10 years old, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like I need to make sure I have a good job so I can support my family and like everything. But it's like
a lot of people have those stresses, and that's like, you're not alone with that. And I was literally talking to Dad about this yesterday. He was like, Maggie, when you guys were little and I used to be controlling over like money or things like that we have just dealt with our family, he was like, I would lay in bed at night and I wasn't trying to stress about money and things like that and argue, because I just like genuinely wanted to make sure that you guys were going to be like okay going to college, and that you guys were going to be okay for like certain things, like we were going to be all set when we're older. Like he was worrying so much about the future instead of living the present moment. And then he was like, I never in a million years would have thought that
this is what would have happened,
and I should have never ever stressed that much about it.
I know.
And I was like, whoa, that's so true. And he's like, now it just made me realize like how important it is to really be present.
And how anything can change, and you have no idea what's going to happen.
No idea.
You literally have no idea. I used to think I knew what was going to happen, but like I don't know what's going to happen.
I know, and the more that you think about it and the more that you get yourself worked up, it's just like thoughts in your own head, and it's honestly not healthy.
Stress is not healthy.
Stress
causes wrinkles.
Okay, so I think we should do one more question. We are going to end off question number 4. How do I find happiness in the little things? And I know we've talked so much about presence in this episode and just living in the moment. Oh my God, wait.
We have our little tattoos.
We have a tattoo that says present, both of us on our hip. Like,
about like living in the present.
About just living in the present. And our mom used to always say when we were growing up, if it was like Christmas, I'd be like, Mom, like when I was young, this is like back when we would like get gifts and like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of gifts and stuff under the tree, that whole thing. And I would be like, Mom, like this is what I want for Christmas. Like, what did you buy me for Christmas? Blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, presents, meaning the presence of
like our family.
We're not gonna worry about the presents under the tree. Like it's about the presence of the people you're with and everything like that. So that's just so funny. Emma and I both got presents tattooed on our hip. It's like a little fine line tattoo that we got a few years ago. But anyway, how do we find happiness in the little things? I think just like we've been saying, being present and just being appreciative, because if you aren't appreciative of the little things in your life, like how can you be able to celebrate the big things? And I think that honestly, just being appreciative of, it could be something so simple as like your coffee that you drink in the morning, or like I literally was walking Milo today and I was going to cross the street at the stop walk and it was pouring rain and I was just having like the worst day, having a lot of anxiety, and like it's gonna make me cry. The guy in his car stopped and he looked at me and he just smiled for no reason. I was like, what is going on? Like that really made my day. And I feel like just stopping and just being present and appreciating the little things like really helps so much, and then it makes it easier to like celebrate the big things that happen in your life because you appreciate all those little moments.
I have a little note in my phone and it is titled The Little Things, and I have bulleted or like written down in a list of all the little things that make me happy. So I feel like I've had like guys that technically boyfriends, not really boyfriends in the past, were like, oh, like I'll wake you up with coffee in the morning. I'm like, no, like I want to go get coffee, like the act of like going to get coffee, or like watching the sunrise or watching the sunset, or driving down a road in the summertime with your windows down and listening to country music on a boat. Like little things like that, little moments that just make you so happy and like finding like enjoyment in the little things instead of just like looking at something like if like Milo's laying there, like, oh, like he could either just be laying there or you could look at him and be like, Milo's laying there, he's probably so cozy, he probably loves his life, you know? Like you kind of like change your perspective on how you look at things. This is another thing that made me so happy, and I almost started crying, and it's like so dumb saying it out loud and no one will probably understand, but it made me happy. Sunday, driving back from seeing all my friends, I had two of my like very best friends in the car, and one of my friends in the back, he like just took a photo of it, like a photo of the landscape, and I was like, that's so cute. Like he just wanted to take a picture of how beautiful it was. Like, I don't know, just like little things like that are just so, I don't know, if you write down a list and the things that like genuinely make you so happy are just so cute.
I know, and I think that honestly it all comes down to
your perspective.
Your perspective, and like focusing on like the simple things and focusing on the things that don't cost anything too, you know? Like I think nowadays with social media, everything is like showing, you know what I mean? Like everyone has like the cars, the purses, and all that stuff, and it's just like none of that really matters, and none of that is gonna actually bring any happiness. It's gonna make you feel happiness in the moment, but it's not going to fulfill you.
Yeah, no.
I love that you made a list on your phone. I think I'm gonna do that of just little things that make me happy. So that concludes the episode. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and I'm so excited to see what the season will bring. I know we're only on episode 2. I've really enjoyed recording these episodes with you, Emma, and being able to just like sit down and open up about life and just things that we go through and our experiences and perspectives and all of that. So I'm really, really excited for what's to come.
I know, me too. You guys can find both Maggie and I on social media. Our Instagrams are, well, mine's Emma MacDonald.
Mine's Maggie MacDonald. And
then,
on YouTube too.
Yeah, YouTube is the same, and then TikTok also is the same. Be sure to subscribe and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get all of your podcasts.
We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you guys next week.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.